This show is part of the Deluxe Edition Network. To find the other great shows on the network, head over to the deluxeeditionnetwork.com.
Bev's Video Kingdom is intended for a mature audience. Listener discretion is advised.
Bev's Video Kingdom is brought to you by Peltzer's Personal Panty Pet. You, sir, you look like the kind of guy that could use a little help finding that perfect gift for the woman back home, am I right? That's what I thought. Well, step right up because this is your lucky day. What I have here is the answer to all your holiday shopping woes. Peltzer's Personal Panty Pet. This little gizmo is exactly what your lady needs to get her through those lonely times. That's right. I'm talking about college bowl season and even through the NFL playoffs. Peltzer's Personal Panty Pet, or Quad P for short, or let's just call it the Queep, is discreet, comfortable, and guaranteed to handle any and all womanly needs. How does it work, you ask? Well, let me show you. Your beloved slips the Queep right down next to her no-no parts, and she won't even know it's there. Until she wants to. Then she takes this little handy-dandy remote control, pushes this button here, and... woo! Boy, howdy, she's gonna love that. But wait, there's more. Hit that red button right there, and... aw, yeah. Joy to the world. But the Queep doesn't stop there. Not only does it provide netherly satisfaction, it has practical functionality as well. Your lady couldn't get to the salon today? Hit this button. She got Braziled hoo-ha. Get that girl to an island because she'll Jamaica you crazy with her waxed out wooget. Things getting a little musty down there? Hit this button. Insta-douche. Look, I could spend all day showing you all the amazing things this little thing can do, but that would be a waste of your time, my time, and most importantly, your lady's time, because she needs to get this doohickey over her yaya ASAP. So what do you say? Peltzer's Personal Panty Pet, the perfect product for your partner's perfect pussy.
Jesus Christ.
And that'll be available on all the BVK socials for the nice price of $69.69.
Well, it was fun doing the pod with you guys. I guess we'll just be canceled from here on out.
I wanna be at Beverly's, bringing me home with my movies. Just a blind ride, no reason why. I love this scene. It's got Zach and Brad, your favorite podcast. Let's start this thing. Woo!
What is up, BVK Podcast? You are listening to Bev's Video Kingdom, where we make the logical illogical. How you guys doing? This is Brad.
Is that our new
We
slogan?
make the logical illogical.
Jesus. We doing Star Trek or something? I thought we were doing...
Did you guys not watch the fucking movie?
The logical illogical? Is that
like
part of the show?
Peltzer's tagline. He says like something crazy products for a crazy world or whatever. Wondrous products for a wonderful world. I make the I make the illogical logical.
I must have missed that part.
He says
That's
like
weird.
4 fucking times in the movie.
Is that for like the creature that he sells that goes in your panties?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh, man.
That's what makes things illogical. All right. Yeah. Hey, this is Brad. We are the BVK Podcast, and we are talking about the movie Gremlins, which I hope my partners here have watched. So we are a three-person crew tonight.
You just made me question whether I'd watched it or not just now. You were like, you haven't watched that. I was like, I thought I did. What did I watch?
I mean, I took notes, but I must have not jotted that part down. But it makes sense now that you say it. I kind of remember that. Hi, I'm Scotch Beck. I'm here too.
Hey, I'm Zach. Nate's not here. Fuck him.
Still doing undercover work.
Yeah.
Half-assed undercover work. All right. Well, we've got a trio here, and we're going to focus on movies. And folks, did you guys know what time it is?
I think I know what's coming.
Oh.
Oh, my Lord. It's Christmas time on the BVK Podcast. It is Christmas, y'all. How you guys doing? You guys ready for Christmas?
When is Christmas? Does Christmas officially start like the day after Thanksgiving? Is that how you guys roll?
That's kind of how I've always mentally prepared for it. Like, I don't like to do any Christmas shit before Thanksgiving. I don't watch Christmas movies before Thanksgiving.
Really?
Yeah, no, I just can't. I I don't know. It's weird. It doesn't feel like Christmas yet to me.
We had people over for Thanksgiving and we had like the full Christmas tree up, like all
shit.
all the decorations.
Well, no, it's nice this year because Thanksgiving is a little bit early, so you get that extra time for Christmas. And like we're the same way. After Thanksgiving, the music can start. I'll put the lights up. We get our tree usually the day after Thanksgiving. So
Well, this is the first year it actually kind of felt like Christmas around Thanksgiving. We actually had a cold Thanksgiving,
Cold
like
as
a rain,
hell.
rain and shit. So it actually, this of all years, okay, I could see the argument. Like, let's start a little earlier.
dude, I saw some pictures from last Thanksgiving. I had shorts on.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah, but you're one of those
Crazy
weirdos that
warm.
wears shorts when it's super cold, though. aren't you?
No. It was hella warm. Like it was like close to 80. Like it was something stupid. I remember. All right, so we are now in the Christmas season, and BVK last year we did 4 Christmas movies. We brought a lot of Christmas spirit to y'all, but this year
We said that's a lot of Christmas.
that's just too much Christmas.
Way too much Christmas.
So we had to kind of audible a little bit, and for all you loyal BVK listeners, I just want to brace you ahead of time. This episode is Gremlins, and next week there will not be a draft episode. I'm so sorry for y'all. We're taking a break from the draft, but we will be bringing you another Christmas miracle, and that's going to be 4 Christmases. So you've got 2 full movie episodes here for the Christmas spirit. And
Maybe we do a mini 1-round draft right now. Are you ready?
Like a speed draft.
You ready?
Here we
I
go.
got first
This
pick.
is
You
not.
ready?
This is not.
you get first pick.
I got first pick. Ready?
Wait. So what's the order?
Best. It's me, Scott, Brad.
Okay, and I'm judging.
1 round.
Me, Scott, Brad, and you're judging yourself.
Best. I'm just curious.
Okay.
Best Thanksgiving like food out of the maybe 5 or 6 like main Thanksgiving staples.
I think I'm gonna get my third pick. Here we go. I love it. What do you got?
I am going hard on mashed potatoes and gravy. I fucking love mashed potatoes and gravy so much. It's probably my favorite thing about the holiday season is just delicious salty gravy all over mashed potatoes. God damn, it's good.
You stole my number 1.
Right out of the gate.
Scotch, come on.
I'm going stuffing. Gotta go stuffing.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Stuff. Okay.
With or without? Okay, 2 questions. Stuffing with gravy on top?
I pour gravy over the whole fucking plate.
Okay, me too. Second question, stuffing out of the actual bird or cooked in a separate pan never actually goes inside the bird?
It's a great question because my mom, who usually is in charge of it, she does both.
Okay.
And I don't discriminate and I don't care.
You eat both.
Quick stuffing story, if we don't mind.
I love it.
give you a
This is what
think
I'm-
about it.
this is what I'm after.
So my first semester living away at college, I went to Fresno State. First time living on my own, out of the house, realized, hey, I'm going to shop for myself. I'm going to buy for myself. I can eat whatever the fuck I want. And I buy a box of stovetop stuffing. I cook the entire box, the entire thing for myself.
This is like July.
And put all of it on my plate, and that was my dinner. Was this giant plate of stovetop stuffing.
I'm not only am I a fucking chef, I'm also a fucking genius. You
Carbo-
give yourself 2
carbo
pats on the
load.
back. 2 pats on the back right there.
And that explains the 4X large t-shirts I wear.
Oh, see, stuffing. I have such a love-hate with stuffing because, and this is hilarious with my family. I will say my grandma used to make a cool like sausage stuffing that was pretty damn good.
Dude, that's the shit, dude.
Like like just really a lot of spice to it and stuff. But if that's not there and available, my family really digs just straight up stovetop.
Yeah.
Like
Really?
and it's our last Thanksgiving that we go to because we usually have to go to a few houses. They always have the stovetop, and I'm all for it. Like, because sometimes regular stuffing, if it's runny or it's kind of mushy, it's just not my jam.
So that's why I don't like it in the bird. I like it cooked outside of the bird with sausage in it.
Got to have some texture, yeah.
Okay, what's your pick?
All right, so my pick, you know what? I'm going to go off the reservation here, and I'm going to go ahead and take the pumpkin pie.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
It's going to dessert.
Oh wow, that's a gross pick.
I love pumpkin pie with a nice little just dollop of whipped cream across the top. You're good to go, and it's something you're not going to eat otherwise.
It's the only time of year I ever eat it.
Are you ready for my pie story?
Oh,
So my wife baked
It's going way off the
my
rails. I
wife
love
baked an apple pie and a pumpkin pie. We were having Thanksgiving at our house. First time we were having the whole family at our house for Thanksgiving. Night before, she bakes the apple pie, pumpkin pie. A lot of baking, a lot of stuff getting ready, a lot of drinking. We drank a bunch, and we both fell asleep. Pies are on the counter. We get up the next morning. The cats have eaten
They
half of
American
the pumpkin
on
pie.
it?
They've eaten. Yeah, they fucked the pie. We got up. It just had all sorts of cat jizz all over it.
It's got a cat butt print on it.
No, they fucking ate half the pumpkin pie, dude. And we were like, what the fuck? And we were like, look, she's like, are the cats gonna die? Looking it up. No, pumpkin's really good for cats, apparently.
Well, that's why they ate half of it.
Yeah.
They're like, fuck yeah, we don't get this very often.
Did it at least give them the shit so they learned a lesson? Or
I
anything?
don't
No?
know, dude. We have the automatic cat the automatic cat box, so I don't see their poos.
You know, your cats were just flipping off the dogs as they were eating too. They
They
were
were
just like,
for sure.
fuck you guys. Look at what we could do.
while
We
they
can
were
get up on
fucking the
counter."
pie.
Ooh, it's so warm and good. You dogs are missing out. Everybody's going to be listening to this thinking like we definitely recorded this like the day after Thanksgiving. and I will actually tell you we are well into December right now, and yet we're reminiscing a little bit on our Thanksgiving holidays.
I got to Scott's house earlier and I was like, man, I got to poop. And I went in there and I was doing a number 2 and I was like, man, it'd be fun if we did like a 1-round quick draft. So we're going to have to think of another category to do during one of the next pods.
All right. I
like
like
it.
that. I like that. So, all right. So we are talking the movie Gremlins. This is a 1984 classic. It is directed by a guy named Joe Dante, who has done quite a few things that you've probably heard of. And it was written by Christopher Columbus. Columbus, the
the guy from Home Alone?
oh yeah,
No, the
he's-
explorer.
No. the Spanish conquistador?
the first 2 Harry Potter movies, I believe. He's done a lot of shit.
He's done a lot.
Yeah, so this is and Spielberg's involved as an executive producer, as well as Catherine Kennedy, and
Amblin Entertainment, right? Was
yeah,
it?
it's an Amblin
Yeah.
thing, so it's got a lot of.
Is that
very
the
famous
ET
Hollywood-
logo?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, sir. So a budget of $11 million, gross worldwide $160 million. It did well.
Jesus.
That's what you got? Because I had another number written down here. I got 212. Unless I looked up and somewhere else
Okay.
I was wrong, but I'll Google it right now just to
Hey,
make sure.
give him an extra.
No,
$50 million.
it's fine. We believe you. It made a shit ton of money.
Either way, well, it's crazy that this was 11 million as a budget.
Yeah.
That seems low, right?
I mean, you'd think Phoebe Cates would get 11 million just on her own.
They're like, we know what you did in your last movie. So yeah, this is a holiday movie. It is a Christmas movie, and it is also a semi scary. It ventures kind of into a little bit of horror, but not so much. It's kind of a weird hybrid movie. And I just want to hear your guys' thoughts. Like, when was the last time you watched it? Like, did you remember a lot of it?
So-
Zach, what do you got?
So I have fond memories of Gremlins. I remember watching this movie many times. I watched it maybe only like 3 or 4 years ago, probably. And, I always, my thing about Gremlins is I always have to talk about Phoebe Cates' monologue because it's just the most ridiculous, out of place, fucking weird shit that's ever been placed in
We
a
should spend some time on that.
Yeah, we will talk about it at length. But I mean, besides that, so I remember thinking like, oh, this is going to be great for the kids. So I know my boys. I got 10 and 12-year-olds. I know that they've watched it several times and dug it. And so I have a 6-year-old daughter, and I'm telling my wife in the kitchen, I'm like, we're gonna watch Gremlins tonight. Let's let Isla watch it with us. And she's like, she's gonna fucking hate it. Are you kidding me? And I'm like, no, she's not. Gizmo's super cute. Like, she's gonna freaking love it, dude. So, and my wife goes, she's not gonna make it halfway through the movie. And so, like, literally, the moment that anything at all happens, even the music just getting the tiniest bit like a tiniest bit scary, she ran out of the room and didn't watch the rest of it. But she did admit later on when pressed, Gizmo was very cute.
Now, Scotch Beck's text warning, or was this previous to that or after that?
Well, she was out of the room. Scott sent the text warning like a week after we had already watched it. But my
you
boys,
forgot about that
I'm
part?
pretty sure. This is sad to say. I know my oldest son's doesn't believe in Santa so this is what happened. Scott sent a text out to everybody and was like, hey, just so you guys know, if you watch this with your little kids, there's a definite Phoebe Cates at the end says, ever monologue says, and that's how I knew that Santa wasn't real.
Pluck your ears, young. Oh, damn, I was trying to warn our younger listeners. But
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah, well,
I think they were scared off by my commercial at the beginning of this.
what are you talking about? It's like the little 12-year-old kid called over like 7 more friends. It's like, dude, you gotta hear this.
And actually, now that I think of it, our other Christmas movie spoils Santa Claus's existence.
It does.
Also.
I thought about that when I watched the other day.
We chose a couple of movies that just try to spoil Santa, and I know my daughter's watched both of them.
So I guess this time when I watched it, man, it's rough. It's a rough watch for me. It's surprising to me that it cost $11 million because there's parts of this movie that look like they were filmed with a fucking soda can. It's kind of bad. Some of it's really bad. The acting is not good. Who's the main actor?
That's Zach Galligan.
He's terrible.
He's awful.
I do not like
Yeah, I thought when he was on the screen at the beginning, I was like, who is this guy and how come he didn't do more? And then about halfway
Then he started
through,
acting.
I was like, that's why he didn't do more. Like he has no reaction like to some of the scary stuff that
Very
he
flat.
should be freaking
Yes.
out. Yeah.
One of the things I read is that the director was getting so fucking pissed because he would just be in shots, or no, it was the director of photography. He was getting mad. He's like, dude, he's in the shot and he just has his mouth open when he's not, like, he's like, you can't do that. You can't just have your mouth open. Like he's just sitting there like, so he's like, dude, he has to be closing his mouth when he's not like talking. Because if we have to do any if we have to redub or anything like that, he can't have his mouth open.
I mean, honestly, I don't know who the actress is, and Brad's going to tell me right now, but whoever the actress that plays the mom is my favorite character in the entire movie.
It's Frances Lee McCain.
I really dig her. I really dig certain parts, but as a whole, it doesn't hold up as well as I remember it holding up, and I really didn't watch it that long ago. What do you think, Scotty?
Well, this was something I saw in the theater when it came out. I was excited. I think I was 10 years old at the time.
It's like a big deal, right? Especially at 10 years old. Like, that's a big fucking deal.
Dude, exactly. And I didn't know if because again, I didn't really like scary movies when I was a kid.
I was going to say,
but
did it scare Scott back?
So, yeah. So Gizmo was the draw. I mean, because the marketing campaign behind this thing was incredible.
Right.
Gizmo was everywhere. This cute little fuzzy. First of all, it's Baby Yoda with hair. Let's be honest.
Ooh,
Baby Yoda. They stole Gizmo's look.
What's Baby Yoda's name? Grogu. So they even kind of went gremlin-y with the Baby Yoda name too.
I don't know. That's all I'm saying.
That's interesting.
But so I was all about it. Couldn't wait to see it, and I remember just absolutely loving it as a kid. And I don't know if I got any Gremlins toys or anything, but I know I had like Gremlins cups and all that shit because I wanted it. It was definitely, there were some jump scares because, jump scares get me. And I specifically, like, as I was watching it this time, I was like, oh, I remember this one. Like, so I could brace myself this time because I remembered it so vividly. The one that fucked me up the most, I think, out of all of them, because there's one where he's in the towards the end, he's in the where the sporting goods place or whatever. There's all those TVs. Sporting goods place, whatever the store's called. And then all of a sudden he pops up on the screen, Billy. That freaked me out as a kid. But the one that scared me the most was when he's in the nurse's office after he finds the teacher dead.
Right.
And he leans up against the cupboard and he pops out of the cupboard. That fucked me up because I think I'd kind of relaxed a little bit because, where'd it go? Okay, it escaped through the vent, and all of a sudden he leans his head back.
Well, he's leaning back because he's kind of relaxing too, and
exactly.
you're like, okay, he's gonna take a breath right now.
What about the bones at the end?
The little there was a jump scare at the end where jumps out.
Yeah, that
was kind of predictable too, but I'm sure that freaked me out as a kid. Or like when the mom backed into the Christmas tree and a Stripe was in there waiting for her. So yeah, it was definitely a special movie as a kid, and like you said, I enjoyed the watch, but I definitely was critical of it. The acting wasn't great. A lot of the over the top stuff was just too much in certain parts, but I actually really respected the practical effects.
Oh yeah, some of them
and all that shit, because it's like, dude, I think this is better because it's not CGI, and apparently they're making a Gremlins 3. I don't know if that's actually going to happen, but it's listed on IMDb. And that's going to be all CGI. I know it. And it's just like, is it going to have the same type of...
I heard that Chris Columbus, I think, is involved and said that there's not going to be CGI.
That would be great. That's a good call.
There's a happy medium between practical effects and CGI where you can just use the CGI just to make the practical effects just a tiny bit better.
Yeah.
Right.
And it works really well in certain stuff. And I think that could work good for a Gremlins sequel for sure. Brad?
Because there's a couple of parts in like the bar when like some of them are spinning around and you can tell it's just like they're on a stick and it's just spinning around. It's kind of like a dark ride like at Disneyland.
You can't look too hard into the background, exactly like a Disneyland ride. You can't look too hard at the background.
And at this age now, I'm looking for that. Like when I was a kid, I was like, oh fuck, these guys are partying. So I hadn't seen
These
it.
guys are partying.
I hadn't seen it until last year, and I was like, okay, my kids have not seen Gremlins. I'm sorry. I had not seen it since I was a kid until last year. And so I was like, my kids have never seen Gremlins. We got to watch it. And I threw it on and I was like, okay, I there's so many beats that I remember, but then there was so many parts that I kind of forgot. Like I forgot how many like just crazy assholes there are in this movie. Like as far as like old people and just people that are absolute jerks.
Well, how about Judge Reinhold? I didn't even know he was in this movie. I don't remember him at all.
He's just the douche.
He's a total douche doing all that creepy shit with Phoebe Cates. And then he just disappears.
Yeah.
And which sucks because I kind of wanted to see the creepy guy
See him get killed, right?
some sort of,
Yeah.
but he just disappears from the movie. Like what happened with that? Like that was a pretty important character early on.
So
and he just disappeared.
They had a whole nother part of the script where he was going to kind of join up in like the reluctant, like, oh, I'm your enemy, but I'm going to help you. And like they were going to go like fighting Gremlins together, and they decided to cut that. Instead, it's just
but then they decided to leave the beginning, his beginning in. That's the part that
establishing him,
kills me.
and then
It's
it's just
like, dude, what are we doing?
So, there's just a few things I want to talk about in the movie. That there's just scenes that as I was rewatching today, and I was just looking at, they just make me laugh. Like, the bank lady, she's a total bitch, like the mean old lady, and she of course gets her comeuppance. But when she's like yelling at the deadbeat mom with like the two little kids, and it's like, hey, we just got our jobs, but we don't get paid for 2 weeks and stuff. And the little kids are coughing, and they're supposed to look pathetic. But when you like look at them, they're like, she's got like this nice, like permed hair or whatever. Not even permed. It's like just kind of like a wavy, like I don't even know what you call that, like a blowout or whatever. She looks all done up, and I'm like, bitch, quit spending money on your hair. Like, feed your kids and get them to the fucking doctor because, like, you look way too good. Like, if you're saying like we're homeless and dirty, like,
yeah, they should have.
So you understand the bank lady? You're like, I get it. I get where she was coming from.
She's like, fuck you, woman. Like, take care of your kids.
Right.
And then we can get to the rules later, but immediately everybody sucks at the rules. Like, it's just, I mean, we could talk about the rules in depth a little bit later, but I just want to say that just from the get-go, the dad's standing there, and I watched this particularly today. The dad's sitting there when he first gives Gizmo, and mom's going to take a picture, and he's just watching her get the camera out, watching her like get ready to take the picture. She's like posing him, okay, pose. And then after she does it and it freaks out, oh yeah, there's some rules I got to tell you. Right? It's just like, what the fuck's going on here? Like, dude, you should have explained it like, hey, this guy said there are some important rules. He didn't want to sell it to me because there's so many crazy rules, but make sure you follow these things. He's just like, oh, fuck. Whoops, forgot that one.
Something else that I wanted to bring up real quick was I didn't realize this movie was partly responsible, this and I guess Temple of Doom,
for
the PG-13 rating.
That is correct.
After this was released, people were kind of saying, this is not a PG movie. This shit's scary and my kids are freaked out. And you told the kids there's no Santa anymore. So there's an uprising. And apparently because of this in Temple of Doom, Steven Spielberg talked to the ratings board and says we needed a second
So wait a minute.
tier.
So wait a minute. So you're telling me that Temple of Doom was rated PG?
Yes.
No shit.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna add that to my freaking 16 Candles, fucking what's the other one? Big, and Temple of Doom. My holy trilogy of PG movies that are just fucking off the walls.
And the whole thing about that is it's weird to think that there was never like an in between. There was never, hey, this is going to be either R, it's going to be PG. It's weird just thinking that we've grown up with it. Like, I mean, PG-13's been around, that it's like, of course there's this middle road. I have to say, I typically hate PG-13 movies where it should be an R, but they just kind of shave it down to make it a PG-13. There's certain movies where it's like, this should have been a fucking R-rated movie and it would be a whole lot better. Yeah. And so I kind of hate the PG-13 rating.
Like Lord of the Rings? Is that what you're talking about?
Nah, not Lord of the
Talking about the Star Wars prequels?
I'm trying to think of like there's a lot of like comedies or things where it's like, oh, we're gonna get our one fuck and we're not gonna show any nudity, and we just want to make sure this is PG-13. When it's like, my ultimate in Major League 2, the fact that they went PG-13 on them, like, what the fuck are you doing? The whole point of Major League 1 was that it's like raw. It's how these guys really are, the way they're going to behave. And then you're just going to like, we're just going to go ahead and like, we want to get a bigger audience. Is that what it is? Like, let's make it a PG-13?
I think that for certain movies, especially ones that are after the slightly younger crowd, an R rating is a death sentence because parents aren't going to, and I don't think it's true anymore with streaming. But I think back in the day, for sure, if you had to go to the movies and your mom was going to drop you off or buy your ticket or whatever, she's going to buy you a PG-13 ticket and she's not going to buy you a rated R ticket.
Right, but Major League was an R. Like, it was already well known that this is going to be an R-rated movie.
Yeah.
I think they did it with, I think it was
Showgirls 2?
Jesse Spano's Revenge.
No, it was Beverly Hills Cop 3, I think was a PG-13 maybe.
I think it was because I never saw it, and that's probably why. Because and I heard it was horrible.
I'm sure. I think RoboCop 3 was like a PG-13 as well, which doesn't make any sense.
No sense at all. The original RoboCop is crazy.
Well, RoboCop 2, both of them are graphic as fuck. Yeah. Like, it's wild. So yeah.
Something else. It's interesting because obviously we're doing this movie at Christmas. To us, it's a Christmas time. It's set at Christmas. There's the whole Phoebe Cates monologue Christmas story, which is very important to the movie.
Santa Claus gets jacked by some gremlins.
Right. But what I didn't realize, just like Die Hard, which is a very also controversial Christmas movie that I wasn't on the pod at the time, but you guys did this last Christmas. This was released in June of 1984.
Oh, really? See, I was going to ask that earlier. Was this released during the Christmas season?
Is Gremlins a Christmas movie? Because apparently one of the arguments against Die Hard is it was released during the summer. It was released in July. So that's one of the ticks against it being a Christmas movie.
I think
except here's the genius. Is that by that time the VHS comes out.
You think that quick?
Right before Christmas.
Yeah.
5 months.
I feel like it used to take forever for VHSs to come out.
Maybe that's not right, but it seems like if it would have come out like where you can buy it.
Well, I'll tell you what, Gizmo toys and Gizmo stuff,
all that shit,
dolls, and
you give it enough
shit.
time to build. You can't do it right at Christmas because it's like you got to get the energy of like, everybody wants Gizmo shit.
So speaking of which, we have to bring up our lost co-host Nate, who hasn't been here for a couple weeks. But he had the Gizmo doll, right? From like age 8 until, what is he, like 44 now? And he still has the fucking Gizmo doll? Yeah. He still has it in his room. And I think positive.
It's got the magic marker blue lips.
Yeah. When he and his wife do it, they have to turn, she makes him turn it around the other way because it looks at her. She says it looks at her. It's fucking uncomfortable.
Yeah. He's got
faster.
That's a really good Gizmo, dude.
Dude, he and Howie Mandel, they can.
That's right, Howie Mandel, and so I remember Howie Mandel. I saw a special. So it's like he does the same voice as his Bobby character.
Yeah,
which he used to do in stand up. Then they made a commercial. I think Bobby's World or not commercial,
cartoon Bobby's World.
Yeah, that was right in my wheelhouse.
And then another voice I noticed on the list was Michael Winslow.
Michael Winslow as some of the Gremlins voices.
Yes,
so from
Police
Family
Academy.
Matters?
Police Academy.
So you're talking about Carl Winslow's little brother.
No, the Police Academy guy who had all the crazy sounds.
Who does all the voices and all the bleep, bloop, bloop, bloop. Oh. He's also in Spaceballs. He's the...
He could be... Maybe they are related.
Oh, shit. He's got a Spaceballs t-shirt. That's right.
And then another crazy IMDb sighting, Nicky Cat. Nicky Cat was in Dazed and Confused. He's the guy that he fights that Newton.
The dude he fights that okay.
The dick in Dazed and Confused. He was one of the kids in the classroom apparently.
The kid at the party that's fucking came here to drink beer and kick some ass and he's almost out of beer.
That guy,
dude.
He's in this
great.
movie. Yeah,
he's in the classroom. He's not one of the kids fucking shit up at the very beginning of the snowball fight.
I'm not sure because I didn't see him in the movie, but I saw him in the credits. Like, holy shit, I need to watch for Nicky Cat next time. So
okay.
And then of course Ermintrout, Jonathan Banks is one of the deputies in this. Which
wait a sec.
Wait, you didn't notice him?
Jake's #1 pick in the Hitman draft.
Love you, Jake. Wait a sec. That I wasn't even really paying attention when I was watching it.
He's
today.
he's the deputy with when he's in there trying to convince the sheriff and the deputy that gremlins are ripping up the town.
Wait, the ones that are in the car.
Yes.
You're not going to recognize him, dude.
You're not
You're
gonna he's
talking
got hair.
40 years ago.
But it's the same character as that was in Beverly Hills Cop, like the same hairline and everything.
Oh shit! I was not even paying attention to
Yep.
that. Fuck. Now here's a quick question: do they die? Like when they flip their car over?
They don't show it. They just flip and.
How could they not die? There was a lot of not deaths shown, I felt like, in this movie.
But
I felt like there wasn't as many deaths as there should have been as far as that you see.
It was rated PG.
Right, I guess you're right.
So they wreck, and I'm hoping that they're like just incapacitated because the family. I mean, the town needs to basically like string those dudes up after the.
You're hoping so they can be properly murdered
because they just leave Santa Claus hanging. Absolutely just hanging, and they just drive off. He rolls up the window and they just leave him. They've got guns. How come they're not going out there like doing their job?
Gremlins are small, bro. It's hard to shoot a fucking gremlin.
Yeah, you're probably gonna hit Santa Claus.
Yeah, you try and shoot the fucking.
But they tried nothing. They just tried looking at him and being like, "Fuck, that sucks," and then they drove off.
Would you rather have that Santa death or Phoebe Cates' dad's Santa death?
Oh man,
Jesus.
God, Santas get wrecked twice.
I
in this
know
movie.
it's fucked up.
Well, Phoebe Cates' dad, I guess he broke his neck and died on impact. So
No.
do you die
I think he stayed in there and fucking starved. They said
I thought she said he broke his neck.
He broke his neck, so he must have not been able to talk or anything because he would shout and like make noise if he wasn't dead.
He'd just in there like ho ho ho.
Like, oh, it's Santa. Ho ho hospital. Oh man. Okay, well, I think we should bring director Joe Dante in. The Deluxe Edition Network is the official place that you can find the BVK podcast, along with all sorts of other podcasts, including this month's Pod of the Month. This month's Pod of the Month. This month's featured pod, which is 10 Cent Beer Night, KNIGHT. And you're going to have all sorts of wacky stories talking about all sorts of topics. Just imagine sitting around with your buddies, drinking a beer, and thinking about all sorts of different topics and going in depth to those things. So that is 10 Cent Beer Night, available on the Deluxe Edition Network.
The network.
The network.
Now, speaking of the network, you were recently on a podcast with somebody else on the network, weren't you, Brad?
I sure was, and it was right here in the holiday spirit. We watched the movie Krampus. And
Wait. Krampus or Krampus?
Is it Krampus?
Krampe.
Krampus.
Krampus.
Yeah, we watched Krampus, or whatever you want to call it, and it was a jolly old time with myself. That was on the Real Drunks podcast, and we also had it was a tripod.
A tripod.
A tripod. It was BVK. It was also the Hoisting Heavies, Josh from the Hoisting Heavies, and it was Matt from the
Real Drunks.
The Real Drunks. So it was a tripod, and it was a beautiful moment of 2.5 hours. We watched the movie. It's a kind of a watch along. Like This is like I've always told him like he needs to do those pods where it's like you're kind of watching the movie in the background, so you can talk about it. You can talk about other shit. You can talk about the movie, and we went really hard on Krampus. Like it was.
I've never seen Krampus.
Oh my god, it's actually okay. Good that you brought this up because it is kind of the spiritual successor to Gremlins in the sense that it's like a Christmas movie. It's kind of trying to like walk that line between a little bit too scary, but also a family movie. You could definitely show your kids Krampus, and it's not that bad.
Okay.
But
It's also not that good.
It's also not that good. And that's what I'm saying. I actually mentioned on their pod, I said, you can kind of destroy Gremlins as much as you can destroy Krampus. But at the end of the day, you're like, but it was still kind of fun. Like, it's kind of a shitty fun movie. So
Well, I'm sure it was a fun episode.
I love how
Can't wait to
when
hear it.
Brad says Krampus, he has an accent.
Krampus.
Krampus.
Isn't it? It's like German and Austrian. It's like, Krampus.
Krampaste.
Just like the Germans and Austrians.
Pull up a chair and grab yourself a drink. We'll hypothesize what directors think. Maybe sometimes get a guess what makes us look good. Let's drink, laugh, and pretend we know what we're doing. Drinking with the director brought to you
Yes, y'all. This is the Drinking with the Director, brought to you by Last Call Brewing. And you know, everybody's got a drink in their hand. So let's go ahead and find out what people are drinking tonight. Scotch, what do you got?
I'm drinking a little bit of Takamine whiskey. It's an 8-year Japanese rye whiskey. And I don't know, since, there was some Gremlins bought in the Asian part of town, I think that was Chinatown. I know it was Chattown.
Asian part of town.
I don't have any Chinese whiskey.
Take me to Asian town. Stat.
I don't have any Chinese whiskey, so I went with Japanese whiskey, and I'm going to get canceled again.
That's a nice segue into your cancellation.
Between the pocket pussy panty stuffer and the fucking Chinese Japanese whiskey. So I'm drinking, shout out to my dude Walter. We got that Operation Nectaron. Brad says it's got New Zealand hops in it, and so I wanted to try it because I keep hearing about these New Zealand hops. It's good. It's really good. I can't differentiate the hop flavor from like regular hop flavor. I guess I'm gonna have to bend Walter's ear next time I see him, and he can tell me like what part of it I'm supposed to be tasting. But it's pretty delicious. 16 ounces. It's already gone, so it's got to be pretty good.
There you go. He crushed it. And Scotch, I'm gonna need some help pronouncing this because I've got a nice little Scotch in my glass.
That is a Kilchoman.
You gotta go. Is that important?
I have no idea.
Is that what that's why they put the H different right there? Because
it's Kilcockman.
Kilchoman.
Kilcoman.
Yeah.
Kikoman. I think it's actually, they also make
they make soy sauce.
That's
delicious.
That is
salty.
That is an Isla region whiskey from the island region there, and it's very peaty.
It's limited edition, and it's very, very, very tasty.
Yeah. So last time you were here, you broke the cork on my Lafroig, and so I said I bought that between then and now, and as soon as I tasted it, I was like, dude, if you like Lafroig, you're gonna like this one. So hopefully you like it.
Well, I'm about halfway through the bottle, and the cork hasn't broken yet, so that's good. We're doing well.
They've got their cork game strong.
But yeah, so we are brought to you by Last Call Brewing, and you can always check out Last Call. It's Christmas time. If you want to get a nice little holiday gift for your friends, go down there and grab a gift card. Grab a couple 4-packs, bring them to your Christmas parties. People will enjoy their beers, I promise.
For a couple of times, like a long time ago, people were like, oh, Walter was really good on the podcast. But overwhelmingly, people have been like, you guys need to bring Kendra back on the podcast. Walter's betrothed. She's fucking awesome. So shout out to Kendra too.
She gets lots of love. And you know what? There's rumblings of Walter being on the pod in the very, very, very soon.
Why would future. Walter be on the pod, I wonder?
I don't know. We might be talking about beer or, beers that he's made before and, beers that he's going to make in the future.
Right.
Maybe his most popular beer that he's made of all time.
Maybe.
Who knows? I'm hoping we talk about that. We shall see. So
that's
BBK listeners, that's a little bit of a teaser. Stay tuned because there might be updates here in the future. All right, folks.
Taster's choice.
We are drinking with the director, Joe Dante. It's a very cool name. That's a very Hollywood name, Joe Dante.
Yeah.
All that makes me think is that's not his name. But
I gotta assume it's probably not, but maybe it is. I don't know.
So you said at the beginning, you dropped us a little breadcrumb, and you were like, Joe Dante has done tons of stuff. What the fuck has this guy done?
So aside from being uncredited director of Rock and Roll High School, which I don't even know what the fuck that means. That's what it says on IMDb. So who knows? There's another director listed. So
I think he just went to high school there.
Maybe he was just like, I really think this is a piece of shit movie. Don't put my name in it.
Don't tell him I was involved.
Don't tell him. They're like, we found out.
Have you seen that movie or know what it's about?
I don't, but you've mentioned it before on the podcast. I'm almost positive.
Did I bring it up? It's the girl that was in Stripes, and also in Halloween. She's the one that's in bed and when her boyfriend gets it in the kitchen.
Oh.
What's her name? PJ Souls, I think is her name. Anyway, she's the star, and it has something to do with like the Ramones, and like they're trying to get their like get
them
the
to
remote,
play or something?
Play it. I saw it a billion years ago. I doubt that I brought it up on this podcast, but I guess if I did, I did.
Sounds like a Scott Beck movie.
Well, he did some early horror movies, and Piranha actually got a lot of love. The old Piranha from 1978, and then The Howling from 81.
Okay.
And then after that, he did a segment for Twilight Zone, the movie. He did Gremlins. He did Explorers, which was a nice little kids movie in 85.
That's a great movie from my youth. I love that movie.
Inner Space.
Like that movie.
The Burbs.
Didn't like that movie.
Really? Gremlins 2, which I have lots of thoughts on, and I will talk about.
He did The
a little bit
Burbs?
later. He did The Burbs. And then after that, it's a lot of like TV stuff and here and there. And then he did like Looney Tunes Back in Action. And then just a lot of TV, MacGyver reboot, Hawaii Five-0 reboot, and some Gremlin Secrets of the Mogwai, which it says TV series I did not know existed until I just started doing some research on IMDb. So
Is that like the Star Wars Christmas special or something?
I don't know, but I'm gonna have to check. It says 2022, so it was recent. It says one episode that he was the director of. So I'm gonna have to go find out what that's all about.
Yeah, so he started off doing a bunch of horror movies, and his name is Joe Dante, and so that's a fake name.
Yeah.
Definitely.
That's probably true. But I do want to say the first question I have to ask Joe Dante is it's about a quote that I read, which so Phoebe Cates recalls hearing some studio concerns that after Fast Times at Ridgemont High, she might not be wholesome enough to play Kate. And director Joe Dante, I got a question for you, bro, because it says that you said you had seen the movie and felt she was awfully wholesome. The fuck does that mean?
Oh, wow.
So this is
Yeah.
after Fast
After
Times.
Fast Times.
After Fast, but so and I was thinking about this because when I saw this, I was 10 years old.
You
and
probably had not seen Fast
I had not seen Fast Times. I mean, I got a crazy
Through every
childhood.
attempt you tried
Yeah.
to get there.
I don't
but
even
it
think
just didn't happen.
I don't think I knew about it at this point. But so this was the movie that I fell in love with Phoebe Cates. Like she was like, oh my God, she's beautiful and like cute and I just fell in love with her. And
Daddy issues, all the good stuff.
oh yeah, and then but it wasn't until years later that I finally saw Fast Times, and then it was like, oh my God, the girl from Gremlins actually showed her boobies, and that's like, oh what?
Cut right.
It almost like it just changed my the wholesome like feeling I had for her.
And then you were like, oh, wait a second. Actually, the girl from Fast Times didn't show her boobies in Gremlins.
Yeah, so
How many dudes do you think went to that movie thinking like, oh shit, man. I mean, it's PG, but you never know. Like sometimes PGs get a little raw. I mean, obviously Joe Dante was like, I mean,
so
I was hoping that I could get her an R rating and we could show the boobs.
let's take this into the chimney story, because that was my first question I had was the chimney story really necessary?
It's the most unnecessary shit in a movie of all time. It comes out of nowhere.
It does nothing to further the plot.
There's
It's like
no plot device.
because like what you gotta so this is her motivation for hating Christmas, or what? Of course you're gonna hate Christmas because there's gremlins destroying shit all over the place. It's like it just didn't. It was all of a sudden, oh, we need this moment.
And it's not short either. It's like a long.
Yeah, it's like one of those like deep focus too, where it's just like very focused. The music's very like somber, and it's just like this random story.
And she has a very, to me, I've never seen Fast Times, so fucking crucify me if you want. But she has a very like childlike voice to me. Like she seems very, I don't know. It's a weird. It's such a weird
No, okay. The creepy thing about Fast Times is that it's very much flirty on the side of like, these girls don't seem like they're old enough to be showing their boobs. Like it's very.
They're literally in high school.
Yeah, it's
like,
it's very creeper.
it's
If you're like
weird.
watching it now, like to be like, yeah, it's like it's fucking not that anymore.
The only thing that makes me feel okay is the fact that I know they weren't actually high school age.
Right.
They're older actresses, which thank God. I mean, obviously,
Especially the
they'll get away with it.
blonde.
I mean,
the
what
blonde,
should make you feel better is the fact that when you were perving on it, you were 13. Or
Right.
whatever. Yeah, exactly.
Totally.
Which makes it okay.
But yeah, so I will say that the one thing about that scene that made me laugh on the rewatch, knowing that scene comes up later, is when he's walking with her talking about Christmas. How do you not like Christmas? And everybody loves Christmas, and she's like kind of getting pissed off about it. And then finally he's like, well, no, really, what's up? And she's like, oh, I'm just tired and cranky. And he goes, yeah. That was his response. I was like, oh
What
my
else is
God,
new?
dude. I just tired of cringy. He's like, yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. They move on. Oh, but yeah, that scene. Okay, so the story is that Steven Spielberg, as a director, he's already done his things. He's on his way to obviously huge success. Executive producer for this movie, and he had given Joe Dante like full creative control. He gave him notes. He said, "Take that fucking speech out. That does not belong in this movie."
And he was
Okay.
like, fuck
And
that,
Dante
I'm
is like,
keeping it
"No,
in."
dude, I need this in here." And he's like, "You got creative control, whatever. Fuck it."
What does this Spielberg guy know?
So, yeah, he had, because of that creative control, and you know, at least Spielberg, he said, "That's your okay.
Tried.
You've got the creative control. There's my notes. It might make it better."
Well, yeah. I mean, this movie was, I think it was an hour and 46 minutes long, and they could have easily cut
6
that
minutes were her telling that
6
speech.
minutes was that. So hour 40 would have been perfect because this movie was 6 minutes too long.
And you just think about it, it's like there is no absolute reason that it is necessary.
No.
Except for her to be grumpy in the beginning and him say, yeah, there is no other reason for her to be like angry about Christmas.
Well, you
it
don't
doesn't,
need-
there's no payoff. There's, that falls into my alternate ending, but you
Okay.
know, we'll get there at some
get
point. So questions for Joe Dante. What do we got? Like besides,
That was
creepy,
my
creepy,
big one.
awfully wholesome.
My other one was like, was there any thought to the fact this movie was targeted to children? Like literally, like the marketing and everything was targeted to children. And then you reveal that there's no Santa Claus with this fucked up story. Like you literally
Wow. I guess I didn't really think about
It's a
that.
PG
The fact
movie.
that it
A
was
lot of families
targeted
taking their
at
kids.
little
targeted.
kids.
It was marketed. Gizmo was everywhere. Gizmo was the thing.
Yeah.
Do you think that's when you realized there was no Santa Claus?
I was
I don't
10. I'd like to think that my brother probably fucked that up for me way before that because he's 5 years older than
10?
me. So
My 10-year-old, I don't know. I'd have to ask him.
I was
He sure pretends like he still believes.
yeah, because you said they watched it and they watched it again, right?
Oh, they've watched it. He watched it 2 years ago.
And so then at 8, then he would have known.
He's probably like, this lady doesn't know.
I don't think Gremlins spoiled it for me, but I definitely was one of those kids that went searching through the closet and found presents and was like, okay, this shit's this shit's fucked up. Why does it say Santa on my ticket, but it's my my little thingy or whatever, and it's now actually it was in the closet 2 weeks
That
ago.
reminds me, dude. I think I've told this story before, but I remember vividly,
I did play along though.
vividly as a kid. I remember two things. I remember one, finding a present that was already wrapped, and I wanted a Nintendo so bad. NES, just a regular Nintendo. I was a little kid and I was like, I'm going to get an NES. I found this box. It was wrapped. It was heavy. It was a Nintendo shape. I was positive that it was a Nintendo. It's all I asked for was a Nintendo. I was positive.
What was it?
And I opened it on Christmas morning.
No.
And it was an Audubon Society Encyclopedia of Birds, North American Encyclopedia of Birds. And I fucking remember being the most.
Did you go to the other room and listen to your Joni Mitchell CD?
I remember being so devastated.
Your parents' adopted kid, they actually put they gave it to him.
I remember being so devastated because I was just absolutely sure that I was getting a fucking Nintendo, and it was a fucking big ass Audubon Society Encyclopedia of North American Birds.
Oh my
And
I have to tell a Nintendo related story too, which sucks because I was an asshole. I was always the one, like, I just could not wait to open presents. And like, I think it was either Christmas Eve or the day before. And like, we go over to grandma's house and
you get
that's,
one present, right?
that's where we'll open the presents. And
Oh, okay.
I think I was just badgering. And finally she's like, okay, you can have one present. I was like, I go over and grab one. I'm like, yeah, I think I bet it's a book. I opened it up and it was like a Nintendo game that I wanted. And so it was like kind of like the big present. And my mom like lost her shit. She's like, that's not what you were supposed to do. I was like, God damn it, I ruined Christmas.
Good job,
I felt like
bud.
such an asshole because as soon as I opened it, I was like, oh wait, that's not a book. I was hoping it was a book. So mine's got the opposite of yours. I was hoping for a book, thinking that like, I can open my present. And it ended up being kind of the big present for that year. So yeah, I fucked up Christmas.
I also remember my step grandfather put on the Santa suit and came to the door, and I was young, and my sister was really young, and I had a bunch of little cousins. I was one of the older kids, and he knocks on the door. We open the door, and it's Santa Claus, and he comes in. You know what I mean? And I say very loudly, like a little fucking asshole, I say, "That's John Taylor dressed up like Santa," in front of fucking all the little kids. And my mom and dad fucking, oh my God, I thought I was going to get fucking, I don't know what you do. You disowned? I thought I was going to get disowned or beaten.
They wanted to punch you.
They fucking dragged me out of that fucking front room so bad into the bedroom and just screamed at me, "What the fuck is your problem?" And I was like, "Oh, sorry."
Oh man, go for it.
So no, it doesn't have anything to do with that. Are you staking on that subject, or are you?
No. I was ready.
about whatever you want, bro.
I was ready to ask the director a question, but
But I just wanted one last thing on the chimney before we go to something else. Do you guys have, or did you grow up with the fireplace?
Oh, yeah.
Chimney.
yeah, we had a regular
did.
fireplace.
Can any human being fit down that chimney?
Not possible.
No.
Right. So I was just wondering if maybe in some other parts of the country they actually have chimneys you can fit down, because like ours literally like.
Yeah,
tiny.
it's got a cap on it, and then like the little
Right.
thing on so the smoke comes out, but that's it.
Yeah.
Santa's magic, guys, first of all.
Well, I know, but
If you have some village
Oh, you're
house,
talking
her
about Phoebe
dad-
Cates' dad?
how
I thought you were really questioning Santa. Okay, all right.
and that's another dumb part of this story, that he actually got down the chimney in some way. So unless, maybe like on the East Coast they have different chimneys where they're just big.
Yeah, they got wide ass chimneys over there.
I know. That's always bothered me. Like I think I remember that in the theater going, you can't fit down a chimney, because I remember seeing how big our chimney was. Like
I remember hearing probably we're talking like 20 years ago, but a story about like a guy trying to rob a house and got stuck in the chimney and like died. And that might be true.
who
or
knows?
not.
Yeah, maybe there's certain places.
Maybe that was some family that killed.
But doesn't
some dude, and they're
Phoebe Cates
shoved him in their chimney? Like I don't know. He must have been trying to rob her house.
Doesn't fucking Phoebe Cates say that they like figured it out because they started to smell them?
Oh,
Yeah.
she went to light the fire and she smelled it.
Yeah, she's like the fire.
She's like, it was cold, and then I went to go light the fire.
Yeah, and then she's like, yeah, they thought they're gonna pull out like a raccoon or something, but then there he was, and an armful of presents. Like, well, first of all, if he can fit, how does he have even fucking armfuls of presents too? Like, dude, that's a big ass fucking chimney, dude.
I just feel like the real story was it was a raccoon, but the dad like went out for a pack of cigarettes and never came back, or fucking, you know what I mean? Whatever it was, and the mom was just like, oh yeah, he was gonna bring you a bunch of presents. Sorry.
He just got laid off like 2 weeks before, and like there was like no money for presents, and so he just ran off. And she's like, God, he must have just got stuck in the chimney with all your presents.
Sorry, Phoebes.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, what was his ploy? Because it's Christmas Eve, right?
Yeah.
Why does he have all the presents in his arms, like in the chimney on Christmas Eve? Like she says to surprise us.
Right. He was gonna come down the chimney.
Just
surprise
fucking
him.
wait
Like,
for him to fall asleep and get up and put the presents under the
On
tree
Christmas
like a
Eve?
fucking normal dad.
Well, first of all, so here we're watching this Gremlins movie. There's snow everywhere, so it's fucking cold wherever they live. I'm assuming they live in the same town. They wouldn't have a fire going that night?
Every night?
Every single night?
Yeah, she said, no, it was kind of cold that night, so we put on fire.
Yeah.
What? It's Christmas. I mean, it's in where we live. It doesn't get that cold in the winter, but I know we had a fire pretty much every winter night.
Every winter. Yeah.
I've been making a fire every day for like 3 weeks now,
Yeah.
and it's only like 40 degrees at night. So
So yeah,
So anyway.
there's a lot of problems with that story. Speaking of problems, like what kind of problem does Joe Dante have with the clergy? Because old father whoever shows up at the mailbox and realizes some shit's going down, and then the nice old guy that's just been in the movie a couple different times, he's like, oh yeah, just mailing the last few little things, and he's like, yeah, go for it, go first. That dude starts getting his arm chewed off or whatever, and the priest is just like, oh yeah. Should have fucking thought about it. Like, what's going on? Like, what kind of dickhead priest is this that just like, he doesn't warn him like, hey man, you should do this. Like,
Right.
I heard some crazy shit going on in there. He's just like, go for it. See what happens.
Stick your arm in there.
Yeah. So I just thought that was fucked up. As I was watching it today, I was like, God damn, that's a mean priest.
you watched it today, Bradley?
Yeah. Cause I watched it last year and I was thinking like I could like reminisce on it. But I was like, okay, I need to at least throw it on. So
You
I
gotta
was making
refresh.
dinner. I was making enchiladas for the fam. And as I was doing that, I was watching the old Gremlins.
What kind of enchiladas we talking? Chicken, ground beef? What do we got going?
Chicken, some green, some red. You got to do a little both. So you got both options, and everybody takes one square of red, one square of green. We're a
Oh,
very
really?
happy little family, man.
I was just about to say, if that happened at my house, it'd be like all the red ones left, all the green ones gone.
Yeah, we do a little both. Yeah. Anything else we got to say to the director here? Because I don't know. I've got not much else to go on it until we get to our next
I
category.
think I'm good.
Bye-bye, Joe.
Is it a one-night stand, or do you throw it in the blender, or take it home to mom and dad? It's like fuck, marry, or kill. It's Shag Snack Body Bag.
All right, we are on to Shag Snack Body Bag, and what was that? That was another little crafty move by Scotch Bag.
Got to throw them in the blender.
That was a shout.
In the blender.
That was a shout from Scott to fucking transition me right into my shag, which is the mom from this movie.
Just fucking people up.
Dude, she is fucking shit up. While I'm pretty sure, like, while smoking a cig, just like throws the dude in the blender, fucking just killing fools. Fucking that shit is great, and she does it quick. Like she kills like 3 of them right in the beginning.
I think does she have the most kills?
I think,
other than the movie theater. Let's
Other
not
than
count
the
that.
8,000 that died at the movie theater,
I'm just saying, like legitimate, like one-on-one kills. She does some damage.
and it goes quick too. I
Yeah.
fucking love that part. That's probably my favorite part of the movie.
Yeah, I kind of had that as a shag too. Like just the deaths in the kitchen. I just remember as a kid. I remember. Did you ever play the video game on the computer, like the Commodore 64 version of the Gremlins video game?
I know.
No.
Oh my gosh, graphics were horrible. It was like kind of a click on this thing, but I remember like you go into the kitchen at one point and the gremlin's sitting there on the counter and you like click it or do something. I don't know. The mechanics on the game are pretty. I mean, it's Commodore 64.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Right.
Yeah, but I mean, you click on it, next thing you know, like all of a sudden you just see like the blender and these legs kind of flopping back and forth or whatever. Super cheesy graphics or whatever, but it was super fun. But yeah, the deaths in the kitchen were great, and then I love just the gadgets and you know. Like all of his the Peltzer's little gadgets and stuff, and how they're in the kitchen. He's trying to do the juicer thing, and it's just like this goose coming out, and I love.
But is that your shag?
That's my shag was.
Oh, okay. Well, I was gonna say, like she says, they always work for a little bit. So it's like I wanted to see his little egg thing. Like the egg thing, if it's just nicely knocking eggs open and they go in and for a few weeks it's like working, it's like fuck yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, no, I just love seeing all the little gadgets. Like I remember as a kid watching this movie going, oh, that's so cool. They got an egg omelet machine. It doesn't work, but it's just cool how it worked with the little thing like flipping forward and with the beak and the chicken, and then like the phone trying to use like the remote on that thing, and he just always had little gadgets for everything.
Now that you say that, like that was like a thing for 80s movies.
The mid 80s. Oh my god, I was just about to say
all
that.
sorts of like inventions. Like you remember Honey, I Shrunk the Kid? Like all sorts of weird fucking inventions. Back to the Future, weird fucking inventions.
You could kind of say like Data and Goonies. Like he's all about little inventions.
For sure.
And then what was the one I was just going to say? Also, there was one more. Shit, I got all excited that you were talking about.
Right?
Too.
I just think it was
Back
like
to the
it was
Future.
like a total trope.
What was the other one? Oh, Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
for sure,
big
for
time.
sure.
His
Yep.
breakfast maker and all that shit. Like,
Well, on the bike he had oil slick. Or didn't he have oil slick on
he
his
did
bike?
have an
too?
oil slick on
Yeah.
his bike. He had, I think.
Oh,
Even
and then Dad and
smoke.
Goonies had the
slick shoes.
Slick shoes.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So yeah,
Oil
mid
slicks-
80s.
Oil
What a
slicks
great
is the
time.
thing too. I remember like video games. There was a video
Spy
game,
Hunter.
Spy Hunter. The oil slick in the car. Like oil slick was like the ultimate weapon, and like
Yeah,
these
if you
games.
just put out a little oil slick behind you, you're getting away from anybody.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, that's a weird thing. Like the mid 80s, great invention time.
Yeah, lots of like shitty, like they don't quite work
Goofy
right
inventions.
Hey,
yeah, exactly.
But I'm pretty sure the clapper was invented in the 80s.
Clap on. Clap on.
The clapper?
The clapper. Oh,
do you guys do you know anybody that has a clapper? Because I'd be down.
I know somebody who has the clap.
Is it my brother's band? The clapper ceiling was definitely made for like older folks. Like, it was
Totally.
like, yeah, you don't have to get up from your couch or whatever.
But that's something that's kind of stuck around. It was
Alexa has eliminated all of that because now it's like Alexa, turn the lights off.
Alexa's the new clapper. Is that what you're saying?
I'm just saying, like, if you're gonna get an STD, now you're gonna get Alexa, not the clap.
I will say that once they had like, I always thought it was cool because they always had those like from TV type commercials, infomercials and stuff for different things, and then they had a store in the mall for a while. It was called like
It's still there.
As Seen on TV.
It's still in the mall, bro.
That store?
Fuck yes. It's got all the shit, dude. All the infomercial stuff.
It's still there?
Oh yeah.
That's awesome.
It's not called As Seen on the Internet.
It's called As seen on YouTube.
Instagram.
I'll see it on TikTok.
Oh man! Oh, so my shag is just the Gremlins and their Looney Tune-esque behavior, which actually in Gremlins 2 they go like way further with it. Like they go absolutely, and it's not surprising to me that, well, one, this is a Warner Brothers movie. Two, Joe Dante ends up doing the Looney Tunes back in action, like kind of was like their reboot for the late 90s. It's got so much of that humor. The whole bar scene, I forgot how long that scene is. It goes on for like 10 minutes of just antics going on at the bar with the Gremlins.
And I remember loving those antics as a kid and hating it now. I'm like, okay, come on, let's just seriously. That's because it was just so many stereotypes and dumb things and what, like the flasher.
It's so stupid.
It's so dumb.
Well, I mean, it brings up the whole point. Why is she trying to serve them all drinks at the bar? Why didn't she just run out the front door and be like, I'm out of here? Why is she trying to like take care of them all? She's lighting cigarettes for people, putting out popcorn. Why did she have to do this for all these little Gremlins?
Go serve all these puppets. They look like they got tons of money to tip.
Yeah. I thought about that when I was a kid.
funny.
I remember thinking, like, why doesn't she just run? Why is she working? Like,
I mean, eventually one pulls a gun, but like, who knows where they got the gun? But
right. A couple of them had guns, I think.
yeah, so it's like she could have bounced, and yet she's trying to like just. I mean, she's working her toughest shift ever,
Right. By herself.
for no pay. They've already like said that you barely get paid or
Right.
anything. The dude's giving away free drinks all the time, and so yeah, that makes zero sense. But I do love the antics. It's so Looney Tunes ish, and I really kind of dig that. And it's silly, it's stupid when people are like getting hurt and then all the other ones look at them and start laughing. Like, I love that. That's just something about that. It kind of reminds me of Jackass in a sense. Like they do stupid shit, they get hurt, and they're all just laughing and like
Right.
having a good time. I think I kind of vibe with that. And so it's kind of that Looney Tunes Jackass vibe. That's my shag.
Sweet.
Snags.
Dude, so if we're snagging, this is an easy one for me, and it has very little to do with Gremlins and has everything to do with the name Mogwai, which is a Canadian instrumental rock band from like late 90s, early 2000s up until, I'm pretty sure they're still releasing music. Yeah, they released they've got an EP that came out in 2022.
Oh shit.
I believe they did all the music for that show Blackbird. Have you seen the show Blackbird? They've done a bunch of stuff. If you guys watched the show 000 on Amazon Prime,
Two more shaking hands. over
fuck,
here.
dude. 000 is amazing. Mogwai did the music for that. They're very much in the vein of Explosions in the Sky, who did the soundtrack for fucking Friday Night Lights, the movie.
Well, let's just be fair real quick, because all of y'all have already looked at if you've got Spotify, you've looked at your Spotify end of the year review.
Yes.
And we were sending ours to each other, and I did happen to see Zach's list of his top 5 bands, and I knew 0 of them.
0. None.
Anyways, there's a kid somewhere in fucking Ohio that's like, oh, I love Mogwai. But anyways, Mogwai, fucking one of my favorite just instrumental rock bands. Them and Explosions in the Sky really do it for me. 2003, they had an album called Happy Songs for Happy People. You got to get on Spotify, listen to that shit. Really great fucking super like buildy crescendo rock songs. It's super good.
I didn't know until just doing research for this pod what Mogwai, I guess, is actually a Chinese word for demon.
Really? So that's probably where they got the name. I just assumed it was from Gremlins.
Oh, no, I assumed it's from Gremlins,
Okay.
100%. But I just never knew that there was a translation from Mogwai, which is, essentially means demon, which is kind of interesting.
I did not know that.
Seems like that would be something you want to know. Like, what is that? What does Mogwai mean?
Right.
Oh, demon. Oh yeah, fuck that. I'm not taking that home to my kid.
But that's my snag. Just put on that, or put on some early Explosions in the Sky stuff. Get out your work or homework and listen to that stuff in the background. That's my getting shit done work music. Love it.
Scotchback.
I'm going to snag. I had something written down, but I'm going to change it because I think I already mentioned it. I love the old school claymation, the puppetry, and all that stuff. And I love just practical effects. But what I want to snag is Scared Gizmo Face. Because when Scared Gizmo Face is the cutest thing. His little pouty lips, and he's just all. His
He's
eyes
already
are huge.
He's already got big eyes.
He's
so
already
it's tough
cute as
to, like,
shit.
yeah.
They make him bigger. His mouth is downturned. His like lip is quivering, and he's just like cuddled up. And I just want to hold him so much and just give him cuddles and just make him feel better. And
Now you know how Nate feels.
I was gonna say Nate's got a little doll that he can ship over here if you need.
I might have to borrow that doll. You might not want it back. But,
Hey, my snag.
it's because that doesn't come out of fur. Let's just be honest.
Gotta use cold water, bro. Cold water.
Scotch, I'm right there with you. My snag is Gizmo. He's adorable, and he completely paved the way for the Furby, which is not adorable. Which I don't know how Furby got away with it because it's basically like a little
It's
Gizmo.
such a ripoff.
And I don't know if they had to buy licensing
Right.
rights or whatever, but I did eventually got one of my kids a Furby, mainly because they were like the cool ones where you can talk to them and stuff, and they do all sorts of wacky shit.
What did it say to you, Brad?
Oh, dude, they get fucking emo real quick.
Emo
Like-
Furby?
Oh, dude, if you don't like talk to them and give them enough love, they start like spazzing out.
They probably listen to Mogwai.
Dude, like, yeah, no, their eyes start freaking out and they'll just start like jabbering about things, and you're just like, what is going on? Like, it was actually kind of creepy, and it had like little LED eyes, so they would like little pictures would show up and stuff. It was a little bit wild. It wasn't the original Furby. Like,
I was
from,
gonna
like,
say,
the
did you
90s.
buy it on the internet?
This is like the
Black market?
This is like the 2010 Furby. They did like they brought him back. But also, like we said earlier, it led to Grogu, and you know, Baby Yoda is adorable as hell, and he does not exist without Gizmo. So
You don't think so?
no,
Yoda predates
that's true.
fucking Mogwai or whatever.
That's true.
That's true.
But the baby Yoda, does,
big eyes.
Grogu does all the same kind of things that
It's got some very
Gizmo.
yeah, it's got some Gizmo-esque.
And the fact that they decided to go with the actual no CGI for Grogu, which was awesome too, because it's like they did all practical stuff. So there's all the little weird things of like, I'm going to pick him up, and obviously the scene looks weird because they pick him up and then they're kind of holding him to the side, and then they cut to something else so that when they come back now we've got the animated Grogu right there.
Right.
So they did it's funny watching those shots in Gremlins, how many times they pick up Gizmo and they kind of move him off screen real quick so that the next time when you see him, now it's an animated Gizmo. So they have to do a lot of those like creative cuts. So
Because when they first pick him up, it's just a doll.
yeah, just a doll. And then so they got to take him out of the screen so that then all of a sudden, now it's a
Now it's a robot. A robot.
Gizbot. All right. So body bags. What do we got going here? There's a lot to body bag.
Go ahead, Scotty.
My biggest body bag is the villain in the movie being a crazy cat lady, and it reinforcing this unfortunate trope. Because you know what? Cat ladies, they get a bad rap.
But no,
You're a cat man.
And cat people.
I was say nobody talks about cat dudes.
I know.
cat man.
Tell you what, being a cat guy, doesn't look too great on the old dating apps. And
Do you advertise? Is that like a number one? You're just like, hey, I'm a fucking cat dude.
His
Deal with it.
profile
I
picture is just a picture of the cats.
me. It's like those Olin Mills, like me with the cats, and like the cats up and above my shoulder.
They're like, oh, just another douche that loves pussy. Oh, fuck him.
Yeah, dude, a guy that loves cats. He's responsible. He knows how to care for something.
For
sure. He'll scoop up poop. Like, hey, that's great father material right there. He'll get into the poop. I'm just saying.
Do you want
Look.
the psychologist view here, which is that cats kind of walk over their masters?
Oh yeah, I know they all want my food.
Who rescued who, Scott?
Oh, they rescued me. But you know what? You know who else was a cat lady? Ripley.
Huh? That's
Yeah,
true.
she was a hero.
Oh yeah,
She had a cat.
I'm assuming
Yeah.
her cats died in space, though.
No,
No, they're the only ones to survive.
that cat made it back in the original Alien, and she left it at the space station. She said, "You little shit, you're staying here this time."
Oh, okay.
on
So
Aliens.
it doesn't join her on the next
But
round.
Ripley was a cat lady. So you know what? Maybe you guys should all rethink your thoughts on crazy cat people.
Ripley.
Did Ripley get a lot of girls?
I was gonna say Ripley looked great in those little boy shorts.
Yeah, when she wears her little like tank tops at the end or whatever. There were some things going on.
I think that's what you need. I think you need to wear some short shorts.
feelings going on in my mind at my young age back then.
I need to wear those little tiny whitey outfits.
Yes.
Hey, we got to get into it, Zach. Before you get to your body bag, I have to bring it up. We got to talk about these Gremlins rules because it's just so, one, like I said, they start fucking around with the rules just immediately, and they don't take them very seriously. And the fact that the Chinese guy comes in at the end and just like kill them all and be like, I'm taking him and nobody needs to know about this. Like, I'm just going to murder these folks and just be on my way. Because isn't his son or assistant or whoever works at the store, is it his son?
Probably grandson, maybe.
It can't be his son, dude, because unless he had a kid at 72.
Hey, he's throwing whatever. But the fact that son is now pretty much an accessory to murder, right? Like the fact that he sold it without the dad's permission or grandpa's permission.
A lot of murders.
So
many murders.
the fact that these stupid rules, no light. Okay, bright lights. That's always cute when he says it and you feel bad for him. You're like, oh, dude, fucking turn the lights off.
But sunlight will kill him.
Sunlight will kill him. It seems very strange. Like, how did they evolve? And then second thing, no water. So their biological systems, they need to eat, but they don't have to have water, which is interesting.
Well,
So there's like, what are the things you need to live? Water.
and what is pretty much the essential element in most things? Water.
here's another big issue that I noticed that I never thought about until this watch. What's snow made out of?
Water.
And all these fucking gremlins are running across the snow. How come they aren't popping new gremlins out as they were just running?
It's only in their
snow?
digestive system. The water disrupts them. No,
it's
Untrue.
not.
Oh, that's right.
The original water they got on Gizmo
just
was spilled on them.
Yeah, exactly.
Because of fucking
Shit, that's right. It's on their bodies.
because Corey Feldman came and fucked shit up again, like he
Goddamn
does.
Corey Feldman.
Well,
The- the very
if we're-
young friend of.
If we're gonna get,
Why does he have a young friend, Corey Feldman? We haven't talked about this yet.
if we're gonna,
Why is his best friend this guy?
like 10.
Because obviously the hero, he's working at a bank. He's not in school. Why is his best friend Corey Feldman, who's in school, and why is he going back to the high school to talk to his old teacher and stuff like that? Like, why is he hanging out with Corey Feldman?
I mean, it's not the first time Corey Feldman's been in a weird relationship with an older fucking man.
God damn, did this movie set Corey Feldman up for
I
failure?
mean, I'm just saying, this is not the first time.
Yeah.
It's 2 weeks in a row we've talked about Corey Feldman on the pod.
I know. And that's just like, was he like going home after this movie? Like, Mom, yeah, I can go hang out with Michael Jackson. I was just in that movie. Remember, my best friend was like, he was out of high school
Yeah.
too. Like,
He was a bad actor,
that's just
too.
what happens. Yeah. So then the third rule: no food after midnight. Now I will
Hang on. Before you do this, can we go back to the last rule?
Water.
Because I just want to bring up something that could be problematic for our commercial, which was for the what was it called?
It was the Peltzer's perfect panty pet.
So the Peltzer's Perfect Panty Pet. I mean, if you were going to buy a Peltzer Perfect Panty Pet and you wanted to put it in your panties and you wanted it to do the things that it's supposedly going to do, the fucker's going to get wet, right? I mean, you might have like 47 perfect panty pets like in your pants by the time you're done, right?
Well,
Am I wrong?
I'm very confused.
well, it's not an actual gizmo. It's not a creature. It's a.
I thought it was
It's an
a
invention.
device.
It's an
It's like a
invention.
device.
Oh, I thought we were talking about putting Gizmo in people's pants. I literally thought that's what the commercial was for.
I was pushing buttons with the remote control, dude. Did you even listen to the commercial?
I was so confused.
I literally thought I was like, oh, he's talking about putting Gizmo in a girl's panties.
Oh my. And they put they got a remote control for
Yeah,
that.
it's like shocks him, and he's like, oh, okay, I got to get to work here.
Since when does since when does Gizmo have a vibra slap?
Was that not what you guys were talking about?
I was thinking about all the Peltzer's
so
devices
confused.
are all little like things, like
Yeah.
they're little
It's a-
inventions.
It's an invention.
I get it now. I literally did not get it earlier.
Well, I guess in your defense, at one point I did say this little Gizmo.
You literally did.
Oh, that threw
I
you
was-
off.
And it was furry.
No, I didn't say anything about
no,
furry.
if,
And it was-
if the woman
I
is
was-
if the woman is furry, it'll do the Brazilian.
right.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Your signals were all
that shit
crossed.
was way over my head. God damn.
All right, but
All right,
I
moving
do
on.
no, I do want to talk about the water as well. There's one last thing about the water is if you can't,
I do like his take though. If Gizmo was in her pants,
Yes.
getting wet would
It
be
would
a
have been
problem.
terrible.
it would
for
be
her. Yeah.
very, very
Would've been
problematic.
an issue.
Yeah, you were going hard about like, oh, we're gonna get canceled. I was like, it's just a device. Like,
Yeah, I really was like, we're putting fucking gremlins in girls' panties now.
Bestiality
This is,
in
yeah,
the-
here we go. All right, Scott's fucking starting us off hard here. Let's go.
oh man,
Oh shit.
wow.
I'm glad we discussed it because I didn't get it at all.
That's great. That is outstanding. My final statement on the water though is that I know people who have like, I think it's like hamsters and gerbils and shit, and they like stink like motherfuckers, or ferrets I think are the ones that really, really stink.
Yeah.
If you can't wash this little dude, how bad does a mogwai smell after like a week?
Maybe they're like a cat.
Oh,
Maybe they
bad,
lick
terrible.
themselves. They clean themselves.
Another problem with putting it in your pants. Stinky as fuck.
All right, and then the third rule though.
This
So,
one,
food
there's
after
problems.
midnight, and I gotta say this right off the bat: Gremlins 2 is silly as fuck. It's the Looney Tunes version of Gremlins, and they have some people. He's trying to explain the rules to people, like so they know. And they're like, wait a minute, what if you're in a plane and you're going across time zones? Like, how does that work? Like, if it's after midnight, it's always after midnight somewhere. Like, what does this mean? They have like little GPS trackers that keep, like, I mean, they don't mention that in Gremlins 2, but it's the idea of like, well, how did these fuckers know when midnight is wherever they're at?
Right. That was my biggest question. It was like,
It makes zero sense.
makes zero sense. Like,
Well, they're intermittent fasting, so you're not allowed to eat after midnight.
But what if like I said, you go across some time zones and it's like now it's like 10 o'clock instead of midnight? Do they have little internal clocks that
I
know?
just, I
Well,
just
here's-
wanted to make it intermittent.
well,
fasting.
here's another question. Here's another point about that. After midnight, 1 o'clock the next day, that's after midnight. 5 o'clock the next day is still after midnight.
Oh,
the previous
that's true.
midnight.
And what about
8
daylight
o'clock
savings time?
is after the previous midnight.
Well, then they let it all hang out.
Oh, you. Oh, you. After midnight. God damn, I hate you.
I had to do it for the musician there. But yeah, no, it's the after midnight rule is
It's
maybe
weird.
one of the dumbest things ever. And yeah, they the fact that they trick them into getting food, it's pretty brilliant.
So
though.
like it's after midnight, but so what's the cutoff? Is it sunrise or is it like 6 a.m. or like when can you start feeding them again?
there was something I wanted to ask Joe Dante that we didn't ask, which I completely forgot about, which is
Come back in here, Joe.
Joe. Hey, real quick, Joe, how smart are gremlins? Because at times they seem kind of smart. Some of them seem really smart, like the one that's like the little poet in the back of the bar that's like chilling, like enjoying the jazz and stuff.
It's like wearing a
And then
turtleneck.
he pulls out a gat and drops, or no, he hits him with a mallet or something.
Mallet, yeah.
Like it's just, are some of them smart, some of them dumb? How do they know like cigarettes and beer? Like,
Well, Gremlins 2, don't they have one that like full on talks?
well, that's because he gets injected with some shit. Like they
okay.
have, so they have.
I haven't seen that in a long
In Gremlins
time.
2, they get all sorts of chemicals. One turns one into a girl, one turns into like a genius. And
There is
one-
a girl gremlin.
yeah,
That's right.
So yeah, that
there's-
gets really weird.
Well, there's a cross-dressing one in this one, isn't there? Isn't that one with like lipstick and a wig on?
No, there's the ballerina one that's got like a little like a
Is that in this movie?
tutu
Or
on.
am I thinking about the other one? Is that
Gremlins 2, it's full on
Full-on
like
girl.
lipstick and
It's got like gremlin boobs.
hair and
Okay.
mini skirt and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Yeah. And boobs. Yeah, it does have boobs.
Yeah.
so,
gremlin boobs.
So these gremlins are like Smurfs. They're all dudes until Gargamel created Smurfette. If you know your Smurf lore,
Yeah, exactly like that, Scott.
you up on your Smurf lore?
For sure. Gargamel.
And if you want to hear more about this, Scotch is he's the mod for the Smurfs Reddit.
Scott
So-
also has a podcast on Smurf lore, if you'd like to check that out.
But yeah, so the whole I don't know how to transition onto that.
Gargamel created Smurf.
I thought this was common knowledge.
The intelligence though of gremlins is interesting. Like how smart are they? Like even Gizmo, he says some words. Like he can kind of speak some
Right.
English. He's playing keyboards with them and stuff.
Well, at the
so
very,
like,
very end, it's
yeah, he says bye. And actually the subtitles, like at one point where he's like, let me out. Like it actually on the subtitles, it said that when he was in like the laundry chute.
Right.
So I don't know. I'm interested in
I always forget that you're a
intelligence.
fucking weirdo that watches shit with the fucking subtitles on.
Love it, man.
Dude.
Love it. Gotta have those subtitles.
And then the the Chinese dude that picks him up at the end, like he's straight up talking with him. So Are they talking Mogwai? Or are they talking? Does he know Chinese? So that's what I wasn't sure about.
He's been with them longer, so he kind of he's picked up
knows their
Chinese language.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Or does the Chinese guy know Mogwai language?
Or is he an Asian guy?
The Mogwais are Asian.
Jesus.
Oh, I don't even know what's going on there. Yeah. Hey, you know what? We still have one more body bag, and it's just waiting to be filled.
And it's an easy body bag. Every time that I watch a movie from the 80s, almost every single one, I want to body bag myself because I just can't. I fucking have such a hard time enjoying them. I just can't get out of my, the production value sucks, or the fucking sound design sucks, or the fucking visuals aren't as great as I want them to be, or the lighting isn't great, or the music sucks. And I wish I could get out of my own way when I watch movies like Gremlins. Like I sit there and watch Gremlins and I'm like, ugh, like it's gonna be like this highfalutin fucking fare that I'm gonna be like, oh my God, it changed me. I loved it. You know what I mean? But I can't allow myself to do that for some reason. And I got to figure out a way to do that because God damn, I think I would have enjoyed it more if I would have just, like I said, just got out of my own way a little bit and just let myself enjoy it.
Yeah, the 80s are kind of the heyday where when they're first starting to figure out like, oh, people like to come to the theaters. Let's just start putting out movies.
Yep.
And they start just, as if you can market it right, you're going to get people in the theater because nobody else has got shit to do. And this is right. And this is actually kind of surprising. This is right in like the video game crash, like between like the Atari and television leading up to the Nintendo, like the 84 to 87 period is like video games aren't really like around and people are just like, fuck, we got to have.
They're around. They're just terrible.
They are terrible. And so like, what are we going to do? We're going to go to the movies. And like, it was you were going to see a movie like what, at least once every 2-3 weeks?
But it was like an event.
Yeah.
It was like a big deal. Like Scott said, your parents took you to go see Gremlins when you were 10. Like that's a big fucking deal. Yeah. Even if Gremlins is a dog shit movie, you're still excited and you're going to be into it because it's a thing. You know what I mean?
It's crazy. Yeah. Cause I was looking back recently, actually. I'm glad you brought that up. Cause like, I rarely go to the movies now at all because you don't really need to anymore. And obviously I have a giant, stupid big screen. So it's like, I'll stay home and watch it when it comes out, whatever.
And when Scott says giant, stupid big screen, he means it.
Yeah.
It's like 1,000 inch.
100,
yep.
100
it's very nice. This is like the one like in a gym back in school. Like if they were going to like show a video in the gym, like they'd bring out that screen and like roll it down. It's like they had to fucking tape it to the ground and like,
they're like, get ready boys. We're watching Romeo and Juliet's boobies. Here we go.
But anyway,
Did you guys ever watch a movie in Reader Hall?
Oh, fuck yeah. We watched Oedipus in there.
Dude,
another great one.
We watched Oedipus in there too. So you guys did the whole like same like the series that we did because we watched Oedipus in there and it was just fucked up. Like that dude trying to fuck his mom and carving out his own eyes and shit. It was crazy.
Reminds me of the best joke ever in Mel Brooks's History of the World Part 1 when Gregory Hines, he's walking down the street and there's a guy, he's a blind guy, and he's got a stick and he's got a can. He's like, give to Oedipus, give to Oedipus. And then fucking Gregory Hines walks right past him. It's like, all of a sudden, like, he knows he's there. He's like, hey, Bocephus. That's Gregory Hines' character. Hey, Bocephus. He's like, what's up, motherfucker? It's the most amazing little joke ever. It's so great.
Like that, motherfucker.
But so we were talking about movies, but recently somebody posted like, the best movies from whatever year. And like, so I kind of was curious about that year and I started going through. I was like, I saw that in the theater. I saw that in the theater. I saw that in the theater. And it was like,
because every month there was like a couple of movies that were like must see movies and you had to go see them.
Yeah.
And it was like $3 or something crazy, like $5. You know what I mean? I remember they had the theater in Modesto that was $1, but the movie had come out like a couple months before over by it's like a Dick's Sporting Goods now or something like that. But it used to be a movie theater over by the mall and they would have.
Oh yeah. That was where you could get the cheaper movies.
Yeah, dude. It was like Jurassic Park came out here, but like 5 months later you could go see it for $1.
Yeah. That was
fucking
that was
great.
some good shit over there. Did you guys know that James Cameron, I mean, he's got so much money that if you don't go watch Avatar 2 in the theater, that he will come to your house and kick you in the nuts. Straight up like Jay and Silent Bob from Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back at the end. Like he's got that money where he's just like, if you don't go see that in the theater, I will fuck you up and your family. Like he's pissed off.
At the risk of Nate's wrath, I still remember walking out of the first Avatars in 3D and just being like, that shit was awesome.
Dude, he brought back, he's like, no movie's done well in 3D. He's like, they all gave it up a long time. He's like, fuck it, I'm bringing it back. I don't give a fuck.
The story, I don't care. It was Fern Gully fucking in 3D, but my God, it was so cool visually.
Question. Are you going to see this one in the theater?
So I've asked myself that question.
I'm like the moth to the light. I'm just like, no, don't go towards the light.
I kind of want to though, right? I kind of want to because I want my kids to have that experience. My kids were too young to go see Avatar in the theater when it was in 3D. Put on,
but I will say this: when the 3D movies were kind of happening, my kids did not like them. They did not like the whole 3D. Like I actually enjoyed it. I was one of those people that didn't bother me at all. Like I actually kind of thought it like added some depth and stuff. But I took my wife one time. I remember I took her to go see Valentine's Day 3D, and it was like a crazy horror movie in 3D. And yeah, it wasn't good, but the fucking 3D was cool. It was like it was something. You know what I mean? It was a thing. Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah,
bring it back, James.
I like it for like about 30 minutes, and then my kind of get a headache, and it's just kind of
does it?
See,
Avatar didn't do that to me.
Pixar movies, it adds like, and I think it's gonna. That's why it works for Avatar too. It's like when it's an animated movie, it adds the depth that just is like beautiful, and they can do it perfectly. I mean, a camera is it's gonna have whatever depth it has, but when it's animated, they can just create that depth. With
they sure went away from it though, right? I mean, they just not really.
It wasn't. Nobody was going to see them.
There was something, and I'm not sure. I can't remember what it was. It was like a Star Wars or a Marvel or like a regular movie, not like straight up animation or whatever. It was 3D, and I remember it was during the winter time because I was wearing like a sweatshirt. And I go in there, I sit down, and I put my glasses on. I'm watching this movie, and it was cool as shit. And I was loving it. All of a sudden, I started getting really, really hot because now I'm inside. I still got my sweatshirt on. I never took it off. And I started getting hot. All of a sudden, my fucking 3D glasses fogged up. And I'm trying to clean them. And you can't get them clean.
Do you wear sweatshirts with nothing underneath? So like you couldn't take your sweatshirt off?
No, at that point I did, but I'd already heated up and fogged up the glasses.
I thought you kept your sweatshirt on and it was like, fuck, I'm steaming.
But I wasn't thinking about it. Also, they started steaming up. I was like, oh shit, I'm getting hot. And I took them off, took my sweatshirt off, but they were already fogged up. I tried cleaning them and they couldn't get them clean because like they're just like little cheap little shitty glasses.
It's not like glass. It's like a little film.
And they were fucked up for the rest of the movie. And so I'm like kind of watching Squeenie through this whole thing, and it's just a big mess.
That's not fun.
It wasn't fun at all.
I body bag that too.
Body bag, yeah.
All right, we ready for our next category, folks?
Yeah.
I say we keep discussing 3D movies.
Why not? Here we go.
Crackle, Pluto, HBO, find anime on Crunchyroll, Peacock, Hulu, Disney, Netflix, Tubi, Sling TV, Shudder, Fubo. What the fuck is Fubo? I'm sure it'll cause a sensation. It's a streaming recommendation.
Hey, folks, you know what that little jingle means? It's time for a streaming recommendation. What are we going to recommend for folks to watch after checking out the classic Christmas film, Gremlins? I gotta say, I almost did it, which is hilarious. When we were talking about on the Krampus pod, on the Real Drunks, Goonies came up. Oh, I just did it. Gremlins came up about 3 different times because we were kind of comparing it to Krampus, and I kept saying Goonies. I don't know what about the fact that they were both mid-'80s PG movies, kids movies.
Motherfucker's about to steal my streaming rec too.
And they both suck. You're like, these.
Are you really going to recommend Goonies?
I have it written down right here.
Oh, fuck. That's hilarious because I say...
This movie feels like Goonies.
3 different times I tried to say Gremlins and I said Goonies, and I was like, God, I cannot get this out of my head. And I just about did it when I just said, after the stream recommendation, I almost said Goonies.
Yeah.
And then I instantly did it too.
And the thing is, Chris Columbus wrote the screenplay for both.
Yeah.
And so Goonies he wrote that based on a story by Steven Spielberg, who produced this.
Corey Feldman in both.
And Corey Feldman was in both. These are the notes I have written down here. And the other thing is written that if you want to watch Goonies, it's on HBO Max or The Cock.
Dude.
Yeah.
That's a little weird brain vibe here. Because
I know. But because it's weird because you're sitting there and it just has the same vibe, same feel. And I don't even know why. Wasn't even thinking about it until I was like, man, why do I think about the Goonies? And I looked at it because the only thing I thought of was Spielberg. I thought that was the only tie. And then Feldman, I kind of popped in my brain. Then when I saw that Chris Columbus was involved in both, I was like, dude, that's crazy.
I'll throw one more on you.
You guys are vibing.
The kid at the very beginning, who's the little shopkeeper's whatever son or grandson or whatever, He's got the little Yankees hat, just like Short Round
Totally.
in Indiana Jones Temple of Doom, who also plays Data.
Data. Yep. Did you also catch? We didn't talk about this earlier, but
Who also is in Everything Everywhere All at Once.
which I haven't
Yes,
seen
sir.
yet.
Oh, it's great. Just watch it with all my kids. They all loved it.
Oh, and I watched it with my son in the theater, and we went back like a few days later, and I took my wife and my daughter, and we went and watched it again.
I was just sorry. The Spielberg thing, the little Easter egg. I was like in Gremlins, the Indiana Jones Easter egg
Oh, yes.
on the billboard. The DJ, he's all dressed as Indiana Jones, or whatever. So
And then the movie theater has two different. It says "Look to the Sky," I think is one, and the other one's like a Boy's Life. Those were the working titles for E.T. and for Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
oh, I didn't catch that.
Was Look to the Sky.
I think it was "Look to the Sky" or something like that. It was,
And they were gonna call it-
"Watch the Skies." That's what it was. "Watch
They
the
were going to
Skies."
call it Boy's Life for E.T.
No, it's when they send when they used to send the films out to the theaters, they would put a working title on it to make sure that like nobody tries to steal it and like oh look what I got a fucking copy of this ET that's coming out. Like they would put a weird
okay.
title on it so when it goes out, it just kind of goes through and nobody knows what the movie is, and then it shows up and it's like no, this is actually fucking ET. Like little secrets.
Gotcha.
Inside Movies with Brad.
I know. Look at that shit. Zach, what do you got?
Yeah, since we already got Goonies.
Yeah, we just dropped Goonies on every.
You
I will
said
say this.
inside
I will
movies.
say I want my final thought on that is that I do not think they're similar at all.
No, they're not.
It's just the matter of Gremlins, Goonies. I don't know why both end in S. They start with G, and that's I think my little dysfunctional brain just messes it up.
But
every
again,
once in a while.
my brain went there too, which it just doesn't make any sense.
But now that we mentioned, there's a lot of little ties in. That's crazy.
So earlier I body bagged myself because I can't allow myself to enjoy these movies, but there is one 80s fantasy movie that I just can't get enough of, and we've talked about it numerous times. We did it on basement tapes, and we're going Willow.
I know it.
It's one of my favorites of all time. I still haven't watched any of the series that came out on Disney Plus yet, but I'm pretty sure you can go watch Willow on there. The practical effects are amazing. It's scary. It's fun. It's good. Go check it out.
I need to give it another watch.
Oh, it's so fucking
yeah,
great.
because I haven't seen it since high
My
school.
dad's classroom.
Since your dad's classroom. Willow, you idiot.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that was a great fucking.
Well, trust me, my dad probably said that like 17 times a week.
Your dad was, in that voice, he had a great impression as well. Oh, yeah.
That's one of his favorite lines ever.
Yeah.
Sheerlindria, bro. That was her name.
Yeah.
Oh man,
She was only a goat for a little while too.
Oh, she was a lot of things.
She was.
And
She
Mad
was like a
Mardigan was
raven.
Mad Mardigan. He's all pissed off. He's all pissed off the entire time while he's trying to cast a spell. And then she says at one point, she's like, "What?" She's like, "I'm a beautiful girl."
I'm a
He's like,
beautiful woman.
"Concentrate, Willow." He gets all excited. All right, so my stream recommendation.
Oh, you're cracking me up.
Actually, one of them we mentioned already too is the Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. The fact that it was the other movie that created the PG-13 rating. I remember watching it as a little kid and just being like, God damn, this movie's intense.
It's so good.
Hearts getting ripped out, eating snakes and monkey brains and all sorts of wacky stuff. When they cut I think the one that really like tripped me out was when they cut open the snake and like all the little like snakes start slithering out. And, there's one dude that's just going to work, like grabbing as many as he can and just popping them in his mouth. He's so gross. And then, so that's on Paramount and Showtime. And I think you have to, so Paramount, if you got Paramount, you can watch that for free. And then the second one, Gremlins 2, The New Batch. If you've never given Gremlins 2 the chance, it is silly. It's got all sorts of like parody type things. It's parodying sequel movies. It's parodying the Gremlins at times. It just goes way over the board with like the Looney Tunes stuff. It's got this parody of Donald Trump. The guy's name, I forgot what his name is, but it kind of rhymes with Donald Trump. Like he owns this big building that's like the
Ronald Rump.
I think there's a Donald Trump or something like that. I don't know, but it's kind of like that, and it's goofy. It's weird. It's got a lot of funny little inside jokes. They did one of my favorite things ever. They took the movie. There's a part where like it's like breaks the fourth wall. The movie screen like stops, and then it's like if you were in the theater, like it looks like you're in the theater like with the people, and and the Gremlins are fucking up the camera and like fucking up the reels, and then Hulk Hogan puts a stop to it.
What?
But then when it came out on VHS, since you're not in the theater, they made it like your VCR was screwing up. The tracking starts screwing up, and then all of a sudden it's playing like this Western movie. And then they had like a John Wayne impersonator being like, "Hey, partner, you better put this movie back on." So they had two different versions. It was like a very cool thing to do that they actually like had little inside jokes. If you're in the theater, you
Sounds
saw it
like
one
fucking
way.
Looney Tunes. Didn't that guy do Looney Tunes too? That's
Joe
what it sounds
Dante,
like.
yeah. He definitely had the Warner Brothers Looney Tunes vibe, and it's very cool.
I remember I saw Gremlins 2 in the theater, and I always remember not liking it, and I've never watched it since.
Bombed.
It bombed big time.
They got double the budget, I think, or like even like might even be more than double the budget, and they just it fucked up. I think it's funny. They gave Joe Dante creative control again, just to go wild, and they gave him a lot of money, and he did his own thing, and people hated it.
Yeah. I remember hating it as a kid.
Give it a chance.
Okay.
I mean,
So you're
like,
saying it's worth a watch. You're recommending it.
I also said I love the Looney Tunes-esque part of Gremlins. If you didn't like the whole bar scene and you're not into that part of the movie, then
You may not love it.
then maybe pass. But you also get Gizmo in his full Rambo gear, which is pretty awesome.
That is pretty sweet.
Yeah. All right. I think we're gonna keep on moving through this podcast. Next category.
No jet wash for Maverick, Meg still on that goose stick. Iceberg list Titanic, Leo's drawing that nude shit. Jim fucks Nadia like we all thought he should. Ricky and Doughboy get the fuck out the hood. Luke hooks up with Leia just like he's intending. It's time for a reshelf and alternate endings.
So wait. So it says no jet wash for Maverick. Meg's still
Ryan.
on that goose stick.
Meg Ryan's still on that goose stick.
Okay, I figured it out the other day in the car because I didn't know what the lyric was for the longest time. But the other day I was listening and I was like, oh, he's talking about Meg Ryan.
Yeah, I'm interspersing character names with actual actors'
Right.
names. Yeah. So that's yeah. It's kind of a quick line, and if you don't know what it says, then it's probably hard to understand. But
Well,
I'm
I'll
glad
tell
you
you-
clarified that.
I know. I just
know-
want people to know.
A little bit of Bev's behind the scenes on that. I mean, we were kind of here just kind of laying down a bunch of these. We did a few that night and kind of throwing down parts. And then like Zach, he's been pretty insistent. He's like, dude, I want Brad to rap. He's got to rap. He's got to do one of these.
No, and the reason for that is because Brad has played me some of his rap songs.
Right.
Okay, let's not say rap song.
You played them for me in the car. We went to the Giants game, and on the way back,
All of
we
them have
listened to
been
some Brad
jokes.
raps.
All of them have been jokes. One was a fantasy football joke rap. The other one was for a colleague. We had a joke rap about him. Like, I mean, I've got all of them have been like being silly.
So, but
It's not like I'm trying to like put down some rhymes.
No,
like, hey, check out my SoundCloud.
He's got mixtapes on SoundCloud. Exactly.
but it was great because we're sitting here working on some stuff and like we're tracking some other things. And Brad's just sitting over at the bar, just kind of scribbling down on this piece of paper. And
He was like Marshall Mathers, just fucking laying it down.
dude, it was like 8 Mile in the cantina. It was fucking great. So
I will say, I threw it was like those lyrics started kind of flowing together, and I was
dude,
like, okay.
you hustled, you flowed. And there we go.
You're like Nas, bro. All you need is one mic. Come on, son.
I don't know if I did one take. It might have been a few takes. Who knows? Yeah. So we're on reshelf, alternate endings, and I will say this: I didn't pay attention what the final song was in the movie. Did anybody see?
Well, it was the kind of the thing, like kind of like a little
Christmassy? Gremlins
It was like the Gremlins theme, kind of.
Christmatized?
Yeah, so they didn't have actual like a song. It was based like kind of soundtrack music type thing, which is cool.
I guess the only song that it could really be if you're gonna do it is that Eve 6 song where he talks about putting his heart in a blender. Oh, wanna put my tender heart in a blender.
Spin around in beautiful.
Yeah, dude, I'm in. We're gonna. I think we
what is it?
throw that one on there.
Monday, and I'm through with you.
Rendezvous.
Rendezvous,
And I'm
rendezvous, and I'm through with you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we played that song a bunch of times.
Really?
In
You guys covered that?
Your brother's band, yeah.
Dude,
know.
he's a great follow on Twitter. The lead singer, I can't remember his name right now, but if you follow him on Twitter, he's fucking a wild guy.
Scotch, did you have a final song?
I didn't.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
that's good. That's a good call out. I like that. Heart in a blender.
Hard in a blender.
Alternate endings, reshelves. I have one. If anybody else has got something. You want me to start?
Go ahead. Start it up.
Go
All
ahead.
right. So mine is, and it's related to something we spent some time talking about, which is you got to work the dead dad in the chimney story into the story somehow. It can't
Make it
just
make
be,
sense.
It cannot just be like a standalone story that just has no meaning to the whole movie. So like maybe there's some mysterious bones in the chimney with him, and he must have been fighting a gremlin and like fell in. Like they're like, oh yeah, there was some mysterious bones in there. Like we didn't know what it was, and nobody could give us any like word of like what this actually was. Something more heroic than just the shitty story she tells in the movie. Like, come on, he was fighting a gremlin and somehow fell in. Like there was like this mystery about how he died.
So she's encountered the gremlins before, kind of. Type. That's why it makes
that now
sense.
she's like, it's clicking for her. Like,
Right.
Oh shit, these motherfuckers like killed my
They
dad.
killed
and now
my
she's got
dad,
this like
yes.
vengeance. Like she wants to like,
I actually
let's go
like
fuck
that.
these guys up.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, because obviously the story doesn't make any sense at all, and like giving her proper motivation, and then show her actually go and actually kill some fucking gremlins.
Yeah, like she's like, oh fuck these guys. I'm getting some revenge. So.
I think the cool ending would be like if at some point they get super wet. Like you got to figure out a way to get them super wet. Like the fucking
Like have snow everywhere.
or the yeah exactly exactly. If the water doesn't make them multiply as long as it's a certain temperature, but like maybe like the fire
give
the
them a lot of
fire
panty
sprinklers like exactly like the fire sprinklers come on and just soak everybody, and then the end of the movie is just they're just overrun by like billions and billions of gremlins.
You want the dark ending?
Yeah, well, not even a dark ending. It's just it would be a silly ending because there'd be so many of them, and they'd all be doing like a different fucking Jack Nicholson character or whatever they're fucking doing. You know what I mean?
So there'd be 8 gremlins.
Yeah, those would be the good ones.
I don't really have an alternate ending for now, like at this age of this watch, but I know for a fact that 10-year-old me wanted that mean old Chinese dude to turn around and change his mind and bring back Gizmo. Because I remember
he takes them.
dude sitting in the theater going, "What? He's Gizmo's got. He's got to get him.
He's gonna take Gizmo.
I remember that was the part of the movie that fucked me up the most as a kid. I was like, "What? He's gonna take him. He's gonna change his mind, right? Because Gizmo was so sad. He said goodbye, Billy, and everything like that.
And he says, hey, one day you might be ready for him.
Right. And so the whole time I was thinking, he's gonna change his mind. And I was just sitting there, and the credits roll, and I'm probably tears roll my. But I'm glad because
You cried at the end of Gizmo or at the end of Gremlins?
Gizmo got stolen from his.
I don't mean that as
Life
like a
mate.
derogatory like way. I mean that as like a super respectful, like I love you because you cried, dude. Do you want to cry on my shoulder next time you want?
Dude, I held one of Scott's cats for like 2 minutes one time. He was like, what the fuck? You going to take my cat? I started crying. It's terrible.
look,
Scott's looking at me so bad right now.
but I'm glad. look, I'm glad now seeing that the Chinese dude followed through with the punishment, because that's something that a lot of parents don't do nowadays.
Consequences.
Right? There's consequences. He fucked up. He didn't follow the rules, and he followed through with the punishment. It's like, no, I'm taking your Gizmo, and you can fuck right off because you killed half the town by being an idiot.
And deleted scene when he goes out to his truck, like the fucking his little grandson's body is in the back of the truck. He's dead.
They take discipline serious in Asia Town.
Oh my God.
I will say though, in spoiler alert, if you're gonna watch Gremlins 2, spoiler alert. But
That's the first time in the history of anything that anybody's spoiler alert.
I know Gremlins 2.
If you haven't seen Gremlins 2 yet,
So the old man dies, still having control of Gizmo, and Gizmo gets put in a lab.
Oh.
And then he finds out about it, and so he has to try to like get back Gizmo with Phoebe Cates.
Short Round does?
No. Well, no. There's so
It's the main star again, right?
Oh,
yeah,
Billy.
Billy,
Zach Galligan
yeah.
or whatever.
Billy,
Fucking Billy's terrible.
he has to go save Gizmo from a lab, like where they're doing experiments and tests and shit. So he never got him back, so he didn't earn him back.
They're like, we need someone to save Gizmo. Is there anyone with zero emotion or acting ability? Anyone at all?
I was gonna say they should have had it in an acting studio.
And Billy's like, I'll do it.
Gizmo was like, Billy, they hurt me, and he's like, yeah.
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 Is there anybody well versed in mouth breathing?
Why is your mouth open? Here comes the Gizmo.
Oh Jesus, that's so good. You guys didn't know we brought Howie Mandel. We didn't bring him up, but he's just sitting over there on his mic. It's awesome.
What do we, it's Christmas.
Wait, nobody else okay, we're all done here?
I'm done.
I'm done as well with this movie, but it's a fun watch, folks. It's a classic. It's an 80s classic. If you can handle an 80s movie that's got a lot of flaws and a lot of stupidity,
Now
it's still got some heart.
But as you know, as parents with kids, you know, so if you got kids, like
Throw that spoiler out there.
Throw the spoiler out for sure. But do you guys think that this is a fun movie to watch with your kids? Like
100%.
And what age range is good for it?
8 to 12.
8 to 12.
That's about right. Because I mean, it's not so scary, and we and in fact we actually were talking about this. Is that like both Krampus and Gremlins are like the great, nice little gateways into like if your kids like this, maybe they're ready for like a horror movie. Kind of like I always think Demolition Man's like if you're ready for a Demolition Man, you're ready for like R-rated action movies. Like that's kind of like a good little stepping stone. And I think Gremlins does that job of if they get freaked out, okay, they're not ready for the anything further than that.
And 12 might be a little old. I mean, I don't know, Brenna. You think Brenna would be into Gremlins?
We watched it last year. She was 11. My son was 15, and it was like they thought, oh, it's a movie.
Yeah, because my 10-year-old really liked it, and my 12-year-old was kind of like, he liked it, but he was kind of like, it just didn't grab him.
Well, that was my next question was like, you know, kids nowadays are different than a 12-year-old when I was
100%.
younger, because like they've seen Endgame from, you know, Avengers and shit like that.
Oh, yeah.
They've seen movies and like they're like, oh, those are puppets and claymation.
Yeah.
This is stupid.
My kids have watched all the Harry Potter movies. They watch all the Star Wars movies. They watched. It's like there's so many things they've seen, and then they watch Gremlins like, oh, is that just our Furby that we used to have?
Yeah, it's less creepy. Somehow less creepy than our Furby.
They just have a Furby acting. That's kind of stupid. All right,
it was fun. I enjoyed watching it again. I'm glad I watched it again, and you know, it's doesn't really stack up, but it was still fun. I enjoyed it.
Hey, if you think your kids are old enough to get fucking Santa Claus spoiled for them and let them know that Santa Claus isn't real,
a good way to do it.
Just watch this movie.
Yeah.
And if even better, if you really want your kids to get Santa Claus spoiled, watch our movie that we're going to do next week, which is Four Christmases. Four Christmases, one of my favorite Christmas movies that I only discovered 2 years ago when our co-host Nate was like, have you ever seen Four Christmases? And I was like, no, I've never even heard of it. And we watched it. I fucking loved it. And we're going to talk about it at length next week. So come back, see us, guys. We love you all. Bye-bye.
I wanna be at Beverly's, bringing me home with my movies. Just a blind by, no reason why. I love this scene. Nick Natek and Brad, your favorite podcast. The stars.